Welcome to Wisconsin in Focus. I'm J.D. Davidson. Following the assassination attempt last weekend of former President Donald Trump, concerns about security at this week's Republican National Convention in Milwaukee grew even higher. On Tuesday, on day 2 of the convention, Wisconsin Congressman Derek Van Orden claimed he was assaulted while trying to attend an event. Joining us today is Ben Yount, Wisconsin contributor for the Center Square. Ben, tell us about what happened with Van Orden and the differences of opinions that have come since then.
This is one of these tricky stories when you're writing news copy. And I know that everybody at home is on the edge of their seat to hear the rest.
Sure.
One of the first things that you learn is don't convict people in your copy. When you write a story, you've got to attribute. He says, she says, police say, authorities say, investigators say, alleged. Apparently and alleged are different things, so don't get that confused if you're looking to get into the biz. Uncle Ben will give you a journalism 101 lesson another day. But this is very much a he said, she said, and you got to remember who we're talking to. This started Tuesday afternoon, midday. There was a women's lunch. Conventions mostly at night. During the day, delegates are free to go and hang out, attend meetings, hobnob, get free lunches, see the beautiful city that is Milwaukee, Wisconsin. At one of these Republican women's lunches, Derek Van Orden, who's Western Wisconsin's congressman, he's in a swing district, he went to get in line. And he says that a Code Pink protester assaulted him. The story first broke in the afternoon when he put out something on X, formerly Twitter. And he had the line that said, no matter the severity of the assault, political violence is political violence, and political violence is unacceptable. As a reporter, that JD said, it sends up the red flag, like, no matter the severity. Okay, so he wasn't shot, he wasn't stabbed, he wasn't punched, he wasn't kicked, maybe spit on, maybe. And then we come to find out, because everyone down there has a phone and every police officer has a body camera, that this was an instance of the congressman walking into line and there was a pro-Palestinian Code Pink protester and they bumped into each other. Van Orden says she bumped into him. She says he bumped into her, and he made a big deal. Called the police. Police came over. They spoke with her. They removed her from the area. They took her down. They held her for about 15 hours. There are two things that you have to remember. Code Pink has a history of causing a scene. These were the ladies in the pink shirts who made a big deal during the Brett Kavanaugh hearing. Their form of protest is to cause a scene, to get on camera, to do something. You also have to remember that Derek Van Orden is, how do we say this, bristly?
He maybe likes to cause a scene also.
He very well maybe likes to cause a scene. He's the congressman who last year at this time, we were writing stories that he yelled at a couple of Capitol Hill interns. And I interviewed him the day after this, and we expected it to be sort of a laughy, jokey, hey, kids, get off my lawn. That these young people were apparently making TikTok videos or taking pictures, and Van Orden yelled at them. A piece out of Politico or The Hill said, there were beer cans in his office, which it's Wisconsin. That's not uncommon. And so we were all ready for this. Oh, what kind of beer? At least was it Wisconsin beer, Congressman? And he came on and it was the exact opposite. He was pounding the desk angry. The Capitol Rotunda housed Union troops during it is hallowed ground. And frankly, as someone who I was caught completely off guard. So that's Derek Van Orden. And that's Code Pink. And you put them in the same line together and something happened. Exactly what, exactly how severe, we don't really know. The Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office late last night, early this morning, I can't remember, made the announcement that they're not going to file charges here. The prosecutors took a look at the video from the body camera and said they didn't see a violation of Wisconsin law, but they also didn't say what happened or what didn't happen.
Well, it's been a relatively peaceful, Van Orden's incident aside, peaceful convention, except earlier in the week when an officer from Columbus, Ohio, is stationed basically outside of the security area, shot and killed a homeless man in Milwaukee. Tell us a little bit more about that.
This was a story that when it broke, and this was the same day as the Van Orden story. This one, however, because someone died, was a much bigger story, much more immediacy when it was reported. And not to sound glib or cold or ghoulish, but this was an incident of street crime that just happened to occur a couple of blocks away from the Republican National Convention. Had Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and the rest of the Republicans not been in Milwaukee this week, this same homeless, mentally ill man likely would have gone after the other person that he was fighting with two knives. This is, unfortunately, a common story in Milwaukee and in many other cities, that crime is still an issue. But yes, this became an RNC shooting, in air quotes, because this group of police officers from Columbus were patrolling on bikes, and they literally just happened to ride up and see this street fight. They dismount their bicycles, drop the knife, he turns, lunges, and the shooting happens. Now, to give you a sense of what the security is like, Pfizer Forum, it's downtown. That is the center of the convention, and they locked off a several block area. That's the hard security zone. They then locked off another several block area that's the soft security zone. And you can get in and out, and there's a lot more police patrolling there, but they didn't go through and move everyone. It's not like you have to go through a metal detector every single time you walk through. It's really just kind of the way that Milwaukee was, but there's 4,000 extra police officers patrolling that area, so it's a lot more secure. And that's where the shooting happened, in the soft security zone. Now, this caught wind. Thousands of protesters in town, plus you have Milwaukee's protesters, plus you have the cameras from all over the world. And like I said, the speeches don't happen till the middle of the night, and you got to report on something at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so this story, both on Tuesday and then again on Wednesday, were front page news here in Milwaukee. Milwaukee Police, by the way, issued the update, and we wrote that story over at the Center Square, that for the remainder of the RNC, which is just this Thursday that we tape, local police will accompany every single out-of-town detail. That all of the out-of-towners will then have a Milwaukee police officer stationed with them, so that there's at least a local presence. But again, all indications are this had nothing to do with the RNC. This just happened to be a street crime case that happened when there was the Republican National Convention.
Well, thanks for the insight. And Ben, thanks for joining us today. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.